Anyone else need an agenda? Yep.
I've made a couple of comments on the minutes from last meeting. Anybody else?
I made some as well.
Okay, make a motion to accept the minutes. From April 24th.
Second,
Vote. Three.
I don't see any.
Oh, you weren't here?
I was here.
2-0.
You got that, Tina?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Tina. But I want to carve them.
This was better.
There you go.
A review from the ordinance review committee. They have the updated land use ordinance ready, and they have the campground changes ready for the town meeting. And I wrote up articles to for the town meeting, so those are all ready to go.
and
Awesome.
there is not going to be anything on LD 2003.
No.
Okay.
The North Road drainage down by Matt's. I talked with the engineer last week, and we can't run the pipe along the road and in between the pole and the guide wire, because that would run it right into the culvert, and you can't cut into the culvert. You also can't run it down and then take a bend. So he's gonna talk with his supervisor, after him yet. But he basically said that that project is dead, or will be. I mentioned, if it could be done, like above ground, a trench, like you normally do, but he was not receptive to that.
Why?
Nice.
Would we still get the riprap for behind the fire station?
Yeah,
Okay.
Do they have a different recommendation or not yet for
he's
how
gonna
we
talk to
should
the
work?
project manager. But
Yeah,
So should we should cancel the call or the scheduled meeting with CMP?
I would,
Okay.
But wasn't it the state who approved everything we were doing?
what's that?
It was the state who approved everything that you were.
Yeah, but what happened was it was approved cutting through Matt's land, and that was never in agreement with that.
Wasn't that I wasn't in agreement with it. There was never any easement drawn up or nothing. I mean, this is until I found out from a local contractor that the product was being ordered. I would have never known, and you guys would have dug right down through there without any easements.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'd like to know how we got to that point.
This is that project that's like 3 years old now and got stopped because of COVID and all that stuff. So I know that CPC was trying to finish that as part of the whole environmental stuff they were doing around the loop. And that was the last part to get the drainage into the lake and clean that part.
And
I thought
I'm
you
all in
could talk-
favor of saving the lake, but it shouldn't be at the cost of Matt down to 2113 North Road. Because now for 6 or 7 years, the CPC or whatever this group is called, has been trying to take my front lawn one way or another.
Well, I
Several years ago, you guys came to me and wanted me to take from the stream bed back 50 feet, dig it all back out to the bottom of the stream bed and put, let vegetation grow up in there.
right, and you didn't want us to do that, so you said that's fine. You just needed that angle to get into the pipe.
So you think that angle should have been free?
I don't know what they talked to you about. I thought Heather and Doreen and
I
Clyde.
didn't even know it was on tonight until I just showed up here.
When I talked with the engineer, they thought that the town was going to get the easement. That was their assumption when they heard there was no easement given, and they knew that the project was dead at that point.
Now, I had a meeting with Bob on the 27th, I believe, or 26th of April. And then, lo and behold, another select board member shows up. And did that not make a quorum right there?
Yes, it did, but we didn't make a decision.
When did you make the decision to call the state then?
I called the state on my own. And I still don't have a decision from the state. But I'm assuming that that's what they're gonna say.
Just, I'm all in favor of trying to protect the lake, but again, it shouldn't come down to 2113 North Road property. And it's been 7 years of harassment on this. And that's how I feel about it.
Well, at this point, the only thing that they would be doing is putting rocks on the opposite side of the stream from you.
And how are they gonna get there?
It looks like they can easily do it.
Without going across my property?
Right, right. Well, Scott thinks so. With a
You got a
mini,
well right there and you've got a generator right there.
Yeah.
And how far is it up the stream are they planning on going with rocks?
just to protect that generator. Yeah, no, they won't
I
go.
mean, I already gave up a small corner of the piece of property when you guys put in a new culvert down there.
Yeah.
With no easement.
We're a little at a disadvantage because none of us on the board
And
were
I just don't disagree.
out of that, so.
Somebody was misinformed.
We've been, we were trying to get this going and. That's.
I just know if I had to do a project in town, I'd have to go through planning board approval and I'd have to go through a whole bunch of meetings before we got to where we were heading for that last Monday. And I don't know if you guys went down and looked at what water went through that blueway. I took video of it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no way that the culvert that's going across by the fire station would have handled any more water. There's already going over the top of that culvert.
You mean across 41?
I'm talking about going across the North Road in Mount Vernon, at 2113.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you went down by the fire station.
Yeah.
That culvert that you guys that just got in a couple of years ago would not have taken any more water.
That
I
was a
mean,
lot
it's
of
pretty
rain.
obvious, and all your catch basins down there did not take the water that it was supposed to have taken and washed out your beach.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's been a lot of undersizing of the culverts all the way down through there.
Yeah, you're
Throughout the
right.
whole town.
Yeah, you're right. This storm was close to the one that we had in 87, I think it was.
But this happened back in December of this last year. Same thing. Your catch basins didn't take the water.
That was the
I
state.
mean, I think that you really need to get some engineering study. Maybe the town needs to pay for some engineering studies down there before they just move forward with any more projects.
The culvert was the state.
Yeah, it's all the state.
So the town had nothing to do with that culvert at all? That wasn't my understanding when they came in, I'll tell you. My understanding is CPC or whatever they are, had some involvement in that.
It's a state aid road.
I understand they- And I was told from the contractor that they had permission from the town to do it.
No, I could tell you who, this is all done by the state of Maine Department of Transportation. I can tell you the engineer's name, and I can tell you that his supervisor's name.
I mean, I did request from Tina last week about minutes that's been leading up to what happened.
Who gave the contractor the okay to go to do the job? The state? He was getting ready to do it?
No, the agreement on this whole project is a 50-50. The state was gonna share it,
Right, but
and the town was
who
gonna share it.
told, I'm assuming it was a Scott? I don't know. Who's the contractor? Who told Scotty we could do the job?
We did, the slug boy.
You know, then he would be, we'd be the town would be responsible for him dumping that sand. If he dumped anything on the property.
That was the problem.
I think maybe we're talking
Yeah,
about
we're talking about COVID.
Oh,
two projects.
I ain't been in the loop on any of this stuff.
You're talking about this job or the,
Yeah, I'm talking about his job. He said something about something was wrong.
The culverts.
Now, the culvert was done a while ago. and it's-
Couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
No, that one, they dug everything out.
That's when I lost a small piece of
Yeah.
the property, yes. With no compensation. No abatement, no nothing.
probably should have brought it up now.
Again, I'm all in favor of protecting the lake. I grew up in this town too. But I don't think it should be at the total expense of 2113 North Road. And I'm not trying to make it about Matt Dunn because I may not own this property forever. I don't suspect I will. But whatever easement is or isn't given follows that property for the rest of the duration.
Right. Yes, and you're right. Like I said, I don't think this project's gonna go forward. It doesn't look that way.
Well, if you gave them a compensation, would it go forward?
I don't think the town's in a position to do what he wants.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna just say this, Bob. It was pretty upsetting to know that I had no involvement up until finding out from a contractor that product was getting dropped off the following Monday. So I put out a ridiculous request, maybe, because for a ridiculous project with no foresight at all. I mean, foresight would have been, you know, if I wanted to do a project in town, I'd have to go through planning board and there'd have to be landowners around us notified. You know, I haven't, this is the first meeting I've sat in. CPC never came talk to me about it. In the passing of one time, driving by my driveway, Clyde Dyer asked me what my thoughts were. Sounds great. Sounds like a good project.
Well, yeah, that's probably our fault too, for not getting in touch with me, but we just figured everything was a go. We had a contract with the state and, we just figured everything was set.
What is the involvement of CPC?
I really didn't even know that there was an involvement.
The only involvement from the CPC was when they did the study around the lake to see how we could get the access and clean up the parts that were going into the lake, get all that runoff out of there and open up the drainage so that the fish could get through there. But I think that's all we had. The DEP and the state were involved with all the.
I'm just saying, the plans I saw 6 or 7 years ago about taking back my property, I mean, those were pretty in-depth plans.
Well, that was just for that one section to put it, try and get it more, I remember that was more wildlife. That's when Jen Jefferson did that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you said no, and we said, okay.
What's the process for acquiring an easement from a landowner at the town level?
Well, you have to go through town meetings.
But I mean,
First of
what does the landowner get first? Do they get a notice, a request?
I would think you'd have to talk to the landowner and find out what he wants and then go
Who's the
through the
you,
town.
though? Would it be the town who's proposing the project?
Yeah, you'd have to have some sort of meetings and come
Was that
down.
ever
to-
done?
No,
You were never approached
No.
for any easement
no,
discussion or anything?
other than the Friday before the products, the material was supposed to show up. There was nothing,
Is that on this North Road project?
yeah.
Okay. Why wasn't that a process?
We assumed and we should have, that it was all done.
It's been,
Well, yes, but done by whom? I mean,
Past select
an
board.
easement's a very hardcore record.
Right.
And that would be something that would be present in any paperwork associated with
Right,
it.
you'd have to get a lawyer and all that stuff, but you'd have to go through town meeting and then draw up the legal papers.
Hmm. But I mean, the proposal would have to be put to the landowner first for any kind of, you know, scope or whatever, right?
That wouldn't have been the DEP or the state.
No.
Hmm.
No, you'd have to deal with the landowner and then go to the town meeting.
So is this still open for negotiation? Is it dead in the water? That sounds like Matt might be willing to negotiate.
I don't know if he wants to.
What do you?
Well, like I said, Bob, I mean, I think again, we put the cart in front of the horse. And I think that, you know, this wasn't gonna happen overnight. There has to be some negotiations. But usually you offer fair market value for what you're looking for. You know, and granted, it doesn't seem like much about pipe going underneath ground. However, once that pipe goes in there, it's there forever,
Right,
and I lose all rights to that piece of property.
right.
Any chance you want to go back to the grindstone and do the easement request business or?
I guess it's up to Matt if he wants
So I
to.
guess it's up to the town whether they wanna talk.
If, as long as it doesn't involve a new septic system, that you're talking about a two-family septic system, you're talking quite a bit of money.
But you're also talking about giving up quite a bunch of Halloween.
You know,
I mean, you're already talking about a diamond shaped piece of property. That I can't do nothing anyways with it anyways, because most of it probably falls in shoreline zoning.
How did it feel? I mean, how did it come out with the engineering study in terms of shoreline zoning, disturbances and, you know, septic system setbacks and all
you
that?
have to hire a contractor that is authorized to work in shoreline zoning, and that's where Horns came in. 'Cause
But
he-
the state did do that study and they did find
Yeah,
what needed to be
this-
done.
This was developed between the DOT and the DEP. So
Mhm.
this was all done that way.
So in terms of the setback from your septic system, which is in that parcel somewhere,
Well, that's what I've been informed it is.
do you have records of where who registered the plan?
I checked here, there's nothing. Could be almost anywhere. Really?
Well, it's gonna be downhill from something, right?
Right. I don't have a pumping station.
Okay. But I mean, if that's, okay, if that's an issue, if that's landowner concern, how does that get addressed? You know, I mean,
If you go to a
Impacts.
town meeting and ask the people in town to put in a septic system for somebody so that you can put a
And it
drainage
doesn't
pipe.
have to be worded that way, Bob. It could be worded, okay, this is what it's gonna cost for the easement.
That's right, you ain't gonna update it, you want to subject.
Well, yeah, but it's gonna be a fairly expensive easement.
Well, the piece of property right next to mine is going for $2 million, so I just think waterfront property ought to be worth it.
I think it
So-
sounds like it's dead.
So I feel like, it sounds like, sir, we're waiting to hear back from
We're gonna hear back from the
the
state.
state,
which is
number
not gonna
one.
be,
probably take a few minutes.
yeah.
And then from there, we decide if all the parties want to figure out if there's a proposal to bring. I would think it would not be for this town meeting at this point. It would be 20.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. this year.
could you establish at this
2024.
town meeting, however, that he'll be included in all the informational
Well, yeah.
intercourse from this point forward?
That will happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, guaranteed?
yeah, well, yeah.
That's why I'm here. Doing all that.
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of benefit to Matt to get this taken care of, because right now, all that water is just dumping on.
Well, and that's the other problem with this is when they built that cesspool at the end of my driveway, now they're dumping town water on state water onto my property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, again, where my leach field has been opposed, where it is.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. If we tell the state that we still have an option available.
I mean, the state has to do something with that water ball because they can't keep dumping it on my land.
Hmm.
It used to have a swamp, so it'd go right down through, but they done away with that.
Well, who addresses that with the state?
So there was a swale there?
Well, the water didn't always go where it was because it wasn't a cesspool at the end of my driveway.
No, that plunge pool was, from what I understand, put in there. Probably about the time they, I don't know exactly when, but
About the same time they did the culvert,
that's what I would have thought.
around that same time.
Pretty smelly.
There was flooding on Belgrade also coming into your property, wasn't it?
Well, I guess at this point, what I would like to get is what you feel would be an acceptable.
Well, I can't tell you that right now. 'cause
No,
I mean,
Yeah,
I think we'd have to have an appraisal done on what we're giving up
Yeah.
and
Okay,
what the easement is actually giving up.
if I can tell that to the state, then they might be willing to move forward.
Is there something that can be done at that point too? About the end of his driveway? The water going to the end of his.
Well, I
driveway,
would cure that, yeah,
that would. cure-
because catch basin there instead.
well,
Because if you
they
guys
did
kill the
that.
project, I still have the issue with all the water coming down on my property.
Yeah.
So it's easy to sit there and say, okay, we're gonna kill the project, town's gonna walk away from this, but you're already involved. And I'm not fighting the state. CPC's already done a lot of work on this. It needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it's the state right away. They have to do something, or I don't know. The town can't, that's the state right away.
I was gonna say, the state, if they put in the thing that's draining onto his driveway, then that's wrong and the state needs to fix it.
Right.
It's
But
below.
my understanding, the reason the state put it in there is at the request of the town.
Possible, I don't know. Before,
I
right,
mean, I'm just saying for reference, I called DOT last year because the water from Desert Pond crossed over the road, went in my ditch, rushed out my driveway, then went all into the lake. I called up and I said, hey, guess what? All this water's running over, rushing out my driveway, going into the lake, just let me know. About 2.5 months later, I had used brand new ditches in front of my house. They look really, really nice. I mean, I just called and said, look, this is my problem. And the guy even called me back after the job was done and say, hey, did we do a good job? I would call them directly. Call them directly. It's your house and it's their road.
And I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it was, my understanding was a request from the town to fix this. But I think the town needs to get involved in helping to unfix this.
Yeah, this is the first night that I've heard that the state basically is backing out. This is a meeting where this has been brought to everybody. And I think we do need to do something. I think that the water going into that plunge pool and just going across your yard is not appropriate.
Thank you.
Is there a way that he could be supplied with DOT contact information? So he doesn't have to go digging through a quagmire or finding it?
Absolutely.
right here.
No, let's make some copies, get them in his hand.
Okay, it's just Dave Allen. Okay, Matt, why don't you do what you have to do? Get something together that we can go to the town with.
Does the town want to move forward with this?
Yeah, if you can come up with something.
I guess I don't want to spin my wheels if the town ain't behind it 100%.
Well, we can't do much until we get something from you.
I mean, it sounds like this, it sounds like, I'm just thinking of the order of operations here to minimize any unnecessary pieces. I guess I'm wondering if we should wait to hear back from your call first, or if you feel like it was pretty clear they didn't have an alternative and Matt should just start. I just don't want you to have to do it if they have a, do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Alternative.
no, I think they would be willing to come back on it if they know there's an option of putting the pipe where they figured it was gonna go.
I think there's also something to be said about Matt raising the issue to the state that
I agree.
it's not working.
I agree.
And what they did, it's not working.
Well, if the project is dead, then they still need
They
to be
still-
part of that, yeah,
Own mitigation.
right.
Mitigation.
Right.
But it would be helpful if you raise.
I just know that I would have a better chance of having the state fix this, one way or another, if the town was behind it.
Well, we would, that's what I would address, would be if they say they're gonna kill the project, I would say, no, you can't just kill it, you gotta fix that cesspool. Get the water back away from your property, running down to the stream.
They created.
Right.
Seems like you both could fight it at the same time, put pressure on from both sides.
I mean, the thing is, you already told me this is a 50-50 project. Whatever the in-kind service is gonna be for the abatement, I mean, for the easement, the state's gonna have to pay half of it anyway.
No. The in-kind was paid for, they were gonna give us the materials and we would provide the labor for this project. It's
So I
not,
feel like they're getting out of it pretty inexpensive.
yeah, a little bit cheaper than what we were gonna, yeah. You're right. Well, actually, Lawrence was gonna do it pretty nicely.
I definitely would support getting this project done, so. You have my support there for what that's worth.
Yep.
I don't think it's, that plunge pool is just not appropriate the way it's configured right now, and something needs to be done about it.
Is this something the select board should vote on tonight? Whether they would be behind his moving forward with it, if you can negotiate it?
Well, I would move that we continue the project one way or another, yes.
Would that make it more comfortable for you?
Knowing that the town's behind the project, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can really do much of anything without the state coming up with the whole plan, because it sounds like what they were going to do wouldn't really have solved the problem at the end of
No.
Matt's driveway.
Well, yes,
Even-
what they were going to do with the drainage culvert.
Yeah.
And the catch basin
Oh,
would
yeah.
have solved the problem.
That
They
would
would've?
solve,
Yes.
oh, yeah. But if they don't do the catch basin, then they have to fix. They have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are behind that 100% in the state fixing it. The state caused it, the state should fix it.
Do something,
So-
yes.
That doesn't mean we're on the hook for,
I didn't say that, no, right.
Yeah.
I think, we've committed a certain funds to complete this project. But we were not aware that the easements weren't in place, and that was the big, mistake we made.
Yeah, if you can get us something, then we'll go from there.
So so you'll reach out, Matt, when you have some numbers, and then we'll hear back from
Great.
the state then.
I would
hear
think,
back.
I would think that in terms of any, restitution for using, we're getting an easement, I think that would be a three-way conversation with the state.
Yeah, I will call the state before they call me. Tell them that we're working on it. Okay.
Thank you.
The community center. I have 2 bids here for work to be done on that foundation. I want to make sure I get them right.
And this is to do a assessment of the building structurally, how sound it is, so that the board
Yeah.
will know which projects we can focus on.
Yes,
So we were able to get 2 bids, and the community center will pay for the engineering cost of our budget.
okay, one was from Hodgson and one was from,
Right on the top here.
yeah, I'm probably reading them.
Brown.
Yeah, they were 12,
One's 1,000 and one's 1,500. The board is proposing that we go with Hodgson, because I guess they've done work here before.
they are gonna come up in a few minutes, yes. I would move to accept A.E. Hodgson for $1,000 to take a look at the community center.
Second,
Free. It probably should be signed by selectmen.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Do you want me to call them, or is there anything else you would need from them that would let them know?
do you need anything else, Gary, other than the signed?
No, I will call them because I have to talk to them about
Okay,
the other project I was gonna be doing.
What I will need is a fresh W-9, if that's not until we actually start, where I can pay them, I need a W-9 proof of insurance.
Yep. Hey,
is it okay if I call the other one and let them know?
Yeah. I guess I should.
Think so.
And then I have the other one, which is also from Hutchin for the community, for the sand shed and looking at the fire station. And that is also $4,000. And I move to hire them to do that
Second,
and vote, and she's out.
We can get them here on the same day, we won't need the transportation. cost.
yeah, maybe we can share.
Yeah. Uh, Just a quick one, reminder that hazardous waste collection will be at the Reed Field transfer station on July 9th. If anybody wants a form to fill out. No, you have to have one of those filled out and given to Megan.
Well,
Thank you. And
This is another one we signed, and this is an alternative that we didn't decided against. And just a reminder for the hazardous waste collection that if you are going to take advantage of it, you have to call and,
yeah, you have to fill that form out.
yeah,
You also have to call.
Yeah,
well,
no, you have to, you have to make sure Megan
yeah.
gets
call
one of
Megan.
those sheets.
Okay.
But you can get rid of your old gas pills. Old paint can, paint. Okay, we already signed that. Transfer station update, I didn't have anything on that.
Should we share, maybe we share this last? Well, no, I guess this is between the, public service announcement that Wednesday hours will start May 24th.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes, Harold, who was in attendance tonight, reached out to us and is advocating that we participate in the Community Resilience Partnership. And it's, I asked Harold to come and tell us more about the partnership. This is just an informational meeting at this point. We want to, there's, goes through multiple stages, so it's, again, at this point, all about an evaluation, whether we want to do it, whether it's something that makes sense to do. It has to do with ensuring that we can have some resilience in the event of storms, prepare ourselves for climate change potentially, and from here, I'll just hand it over to Harold and let him introduce it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a state program. It's basically a type of a grant program for towns and municipalities who, well, like the issue we've been discussing, really. It supports, and it kind of supports a wide range of things from weatherization, electrification, storm drains, infrastructure. It's really a very also planning processes and so on. So there's really a wide range of different things that this grant can possibly cover. And the grant amount is between 5,000 and 50,000 per project. I guess so now there's about 90 towns across Maine that's enrolled in the program. There's also, if you're enrolled together or if you apply together with somebody, second town, for example, Vienna, Fayette, or something like that, the total amount is 125,000 for like a multi-town project. There's also no match requirement. The only kind of criteria or what the town would have to do is to have a kind of a public consultation meeting where people basically decide on what are the priority actions we want to take as a community and apply for funding. What's the priority project? So you would have to like list those things and kind of complete like kind of a checklist to see like, okay, what have we done in the community in terms of preparing for climate change or extreme weather events, cold and or drought and so on. So there has to be, that's kind of one of the criteria, and that's kind of self evaluation that the town has to do, and then there's the town also has to think like pass a resolution basically yes the town confirming that yes the town would like to enroll in the program. Those are the eligibility criteria to apply. The enrollment kind of happens on a rolling basis. We can enroll at any point, but the grants come out, or the request for proposal come out twice a year so far. I mean, it depends on the budget and so on and so forth, but so far that's what it's been, and it started off last year.
And my understanding is that there is no cost to the town other than going through the process of evaluations.
Exactly. So there's no cost to the town other than that somebody actually has to do, organize the meetings, put together the proposal, etc. And also want to like have, transparency sake. The reason I know about this program and the reason I started thinking about my Vernon, because of the floods, basically, is that I work for Grossmark Maine, which is a nonprofit based in Augusta. And they are a member of this kind of partnership, and they are there as a service provider, so basically helping towns who wants to enroll in this, in that kind of enrollment process, kind of hosting or facilitating the public consultation meeting and so on. That's how I became aware of the program and why I thought about it, basically.
And
what was the limit? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
What was the limit?
50,000 per town, but if you're several towns going together in a project, it's 125,000.
And am I understanding right, you enroll, and that's what makes you eligible to
Yeah.
apply for the grant
So you
funding.
do
Yeah.
need to enroll.
Yeah.
First, but again, it's a pretty. This is specifically designed for smaller towns, so there's a benefit to being below 10,000 inhabitants, for example, and you'll have. And that's also why they have this system of like service providers to help towns that don't necessarily have staff who can manage this. That you have these nonprofits that can support that process.
Mhm.
So that's the thinking behind it, and I think the next event is probably coming out in the next couple of months, so, and then probably another one in late fall.
Is the funding for this, federal funding, state funding, or?
I'll have to get back to you about that, but I assume it's some kind of federal program that's been given to the, sometimes given to the states.
And
To bend for resilience.
Is there one shot at, grants or grant availability? You know, if we choose a project, now, this
We could do
year,
another one
we could
later.
do another one later.
Yeah. So it's pretty flexible, you know, there's a list of 72 priorities. So if you can't find something there that's like suitable, then you're pretty well prepared, put it like that. So and it's, as I said, it's not a very heavy process. Yeah, from my perspective, if the town does want to proceed with this and wants to have the help of Grow Smart Maine, I would be thinking about, you know, what about Vienna and Fayette as well, so that you kind of have a couple of other towns that you maybe want to work with.
Mhm.
But, first, you know, it's just.
So it would be like repair roads that are continually washing out, stuff like that.
Or one of the ideas that I was thinking was developing our plan for the community center for warming and whatever else might be necessary associated with that.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I think it's very wide, and and as long as there's like a broad consultation kind of town meeting, not a town meeting, but like a public meeting where people can come and be a part of the process. That's the important
Mhm.
part.
We need to work on the community center not flooding before we.
We may need to do that, yes.
That problem. It's like sea level.
Anyway,
Yeah, that public meeting could be to throw out ideas of what other people think about that town needs. That's good idea.
bit of a brainstorming
Yeah.
session.
Have a thought? It feels to me like we're stacking things up. We've got the 30-mile watershed risk assessment, okay? We've got Seven Lakes Alliance in paying attention to runoff and whatever they can do to remediate that. And then we've got this that might hold hands with a lot of that. So it seems as though we really kind of need to get a stacked up view as to exactly what we've got going on first.
You're gonna hear about another one soon.
Okay, what's that?
Well, the more sources of funding you
Let's
can
get
get,
it.
though, the better.
Right. Yeah, we'll get through this one first. But yeah. I like that. We've been trying to push grants out, but we're not grant writers, and it's hard for us to think about that.
I thought we had somebody in town that's. really good with
Yeah,
credit
even to
cards.
Guatemala.
Oh, that's-
There was a brief grants committee which our leader moved, but if there was some energy, some of those would probably get roped back in.
I should. For the fire department.
Yes, yeah, he did write some for the fire department.
I should
Yeah.
mention that the town will have to designate one person or a committee to kind of be the coordinator or be like the town focal point for this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Are you
Um,
volunteering now?
Gotta go on, sir.
Yeah, the thing is, provider, it's maybe hard for me to both be the time and the sort of.
So
Yikes.
what would be a next step if we were interested in enrolling? We would declare we wanted to enroll in the
Yeah,
program and fill out their form.
Yeah, I think, at least the record.
Yeah.
And then to basically host a meeting where you this,
Mhm.
all the different things that the town will want to do and how to prioritize it and agree on what our priorities are.
Is there still stuff on the 10-year plan that we could get?
There's plenty of stuff left on the 10-year plan that we can get done, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, if you could be there, so you could tell us whether or not the things that are being brought up are actually doable under this program too.
Well, look at, you said that the list of 72.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Look at that.
not criteria, priorities.
yeah,
So it's actually the criteria are actually quite not that strange. It's really quite involved. As long as it has to relate to like preparing for extreme weather or
Where do we get a copy of those 72?
I can share that. I can share the background kind of those. There's like a nice one pager that kind of explains that, and then also see the list of the checklist and the 72 priorities and so on. So also share like a draft format for the application.
Is that what you shared with me already? And
I shared that one pager. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay, I could put that up on the website.
Would you? Well, that would be great.
Is there a website related to this program?
Yes. I think if you just Google the Community Resilience Partnership Maine, you'll probably find it.
Good.
European CPC.
Thank you. Sure. Okay,
Well, thank you, Harold.
Thanks, Carol.
one night that the heavy loose people are not here, I had an answer phone, and they're not gonna like it. You saw the letter I received from MMA
Mhm.
Legal. They do not feel that the vote taken in 1941 that closed the Heavy Loose Road didn't actually close it to the. They didn't feel that it closed it as an abandoned road, make it an abandoned road, and therefore did not allow the public easement section. Yeah, that's exactly opposite from the opinion I got like in the 90s, which said once the town doesn't do work on the road for 40 years or so, then it becomes an abandoned road and you it still becomes public easement. The land becomes to the center line. What she says here, we should address it to our town attorney for legal opinion, and I'm not for that. I don't want to spend more town money on attorney fees. I think the owners or the road or the property owners on that road should do the duking out with attorneys.
We have a deed from 1928 that shows that the town, that it was discontinued. So what do you have from 1940 that's different, because it's a registered document at the Kennebec Registry of Deeds, that it's a discontinued road.
And it was
That's-
recorded.
It's recorded.
1920.
No, it was recorded by Robin Lynch in 1991. I sent you a copy of that. That is a valid record of deed, and it was not abandoned, it was a discontinued road. I think I have a copy. That's why I sent you that email asking you, because you asked about an abandoned road, and that's not, it's actually discontinued.
What do you do with discontinued? Can you open it up again?
No,
You can't.
once you
It's already
discontinue it,
recorded.
So you were telling them that you wanted to maintain an easement through there
correct,
as the town, but it doesn't look like you can actually do that.
no. What it means is they should be going to an attorney and
Exactly.
checking, the title. What they would do is look at the town vote. And then they should check to see if the selectmen, the town vote said that, we vote to require for the selectmen to close the road. And I can't remember the wording of it, but basically it said for the selectmen to go to the county commissioners and close the road, which is the proper way to do it. Now, what the attorney would do is go to the county records and see if that was done. And if that was done, then the road would be closed properly. And that's what, if we had our town attorney do, that's what she would have done. But I
You
don't.
may
wanna
not
spend
need
money.
to if it's already been recorded. as
Recorded
that.
right now,
Yeah, if it has been, I don't know. I would have to get. I would send that,
Right back with that document, yeah.
I would send that back to her.
Vote to discontinue Hubby Road. This was done on the town meeting of March 12th, 1928, Article 29.
Happy one with her, happy.
1929, 19, March 12th of 1928, Article 29. It's at the Registry of Deeds.
But what road?
Hubby
Hubby
Luce.
C or hubby?
Hubby Road. Yeah.
Hubby Road. Oh, Hubby Road.
That's a different
That's
road.
what-
Oh, okay. It's a different road.
No, it's good.
So you're back
So
to-
where's Wells Hill?
Yeah.
There are Wells Hill. Okay, so it isn't just. Okay.
What I'll call them up and tell them that they get in touch with their attorney. I'll give them a copy of this. And their attorney should be able to look it up. And what it would probably do is be in their favor. Because that means that the person in there is landlocked.
Right. Which, that's illegal, right, to landlock. a
Yeah,
property.
so that person will have to,
Yeah.
Well, no, you said that if the minutes that would have been recorded from the select board meeting that closed the road,
right.
okay,
The town meeting closed the road and
Does that
requested
exist?
that, yeah.
is
Yeah,
it's a written document that exists?
town meeting. Town meeting in 1942,
Okay.
44.
So they would probably need to have a copy of that for their own
Right.
attorney.
So they'll have to come here, get it from the town clerk.
Right, but they'll need it.
Then they'll have to go to the registry of deeds and get that
Right.
from the county commissioner.
You can get it right online now.
So.
Yeah.
We'll let them do that. Oh, Tina, you wanted to do the MMA planning board course?
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting online. They keep sending me the select board email, password reset, and I'm like, I keep telling them, and it's not that email. Yes, but I am trying to get on that class.
You want me to?
If you want to sign me up for it, that'd be great. I tried. And there's also another one that I've been trying to set up for, but I think it's in July, but yeah. If I can get them done before the end of the fiscal year, that'd be great. And like I said,
What was the other one?
I'm taking municipal law for clerks, but that's gonna be later in July, I think, or August. And then I think there was one more.
Do you need the clerk one?
The municipal law for courts, yeah, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where you learn all that, yes. That's gonna bring me back up to speed.
Okay, we have
Um,
a budget.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm trying to do with this fiscal year. and
So
having it in July.
Barbara
So I have
Scapper
enough
has
to do.
another request for information, freedom of information for any dog attacks that included German Shepherds. Tina, do you know of, I went through all those files, I could not find anything on animal control.
Well, the problem is it's regulated by the state, and if I've never had an animal control officer tell me that I couldn't have a report. But I don't know if that's because.
You
I
can
was-
get it, you can get it. My
Yeah.
sister got it all for me and
Yeah.
had it all printed out when I lived in Belgrade and I was doing the cost
I
of
think
it.
there's a couple of records.
Where are they though?
If the animal
Yes.
control officer isn't in the habit of giving the admin assistant those records, then I don't know what those records are.
So where do I get them?
You can call the state and see if the state would have a copy. The ACO should be copied.
Right on the internet. I'll find out from her. She went right on the internet and just downloaded it and printed it out and they had a lot of articles about specific dogs, dog accosts, dog bites, so
If I can find that.
It's articles, but this is complaints in this town.
Yeah,
Oh, is that what she's asking?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have to go, I'd have to call the End Division of Animal Welfare. I'll just call them tomorrow and see what
If it was a
69.
dangerous dog, I think the animal control officer does report it to the state,
he has to, yes.
yeah.
okay.
Even if it's on their own property.
If it's investigated and it's potentially a dangerous dog, then it has. to
On
be-
your own property.
Well, if there's an investigation because there's an attack, a alleged attack, then yes. If it's deemed that it was,
Okay.
if the animal control
Oh, that's
officer
okay.
deems
And
that
then
it's
in here, and I
dangerous.
didn't find anything, so, yeah, if you would check,
Yeah.
let me know. Okay.
Thanks, Nina.
Thank you.
Okay, Modern Pest. I met with them at the community center today.
Oh, good.
They're gonna,
Didn't the rats all drown?
they did find some rat behind the stove.
Oh,
And we found a few spots where they were coming through the foundation, but very little. So you don't have a major problem. But they're gonna give me a quote. They'll send it on and I can send it on to you.
great, thank you.
Any is a major problem for me.
Can I skip back real quick to the heavy scenario?
Yep.
So that we can avoid another non-communication issue like Mr. Dunn over here. Could these people be notified? Okay.
Yeah, I'll send them a copy of the letter that I have.
Okay. Just to keep them in the loop because,
Yeah.
yeah, it's important.
Yeah, I was hoping they would be here tonight. I just figured they would be, but. Liquor license, there's gonna be an application coming forward on a place on the Blake Hill Road. They're gonna go through the planning board this week. No,
Yeah, I don't, next week,
next
right?
week, yeah, next week. So did I give you a copy of it, Tina?
I have a copy of it from, Bill. Not from Bill, but
You have the full one?
I don't have a full one. I only have, yes, if you have a full one, I'll keep that full.
Did-
So somebody's
this-
applying for a liquor license on Blake Hill.
Yeah.
Is that,
It's a catering, catering.
Is that a
Catering.
commercial area?
It's a, she took it. It's a, she does a catering business and now she wants to do it at her house.
is that considered a home occupation? You know, what's that fall
I
under?
don't know. I'm gonna go to the planning board this month and find out.
The applicant.
Who's the applicant? She's got it.
Is it Anna, somebody?
No, Alicia? Is
I
it?
think so, with Annalise or
Annalise.
something like that. Annalisa.
And Alicia?
So anybody can apply for a liquor license on the property if they have a.
Well, they got to
A
go through the
catering
planning
business.
board.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that was only allowed in certain areas.
We'll see.
Is this for commercial purposes?
Yeah.
On the Blake Hill Road?
We'll see if the planning board,
What's going in on the Blake Hill Road?
it's a catering
That's out of her home.
eatery.
To have dining in. Or is it just dinner to like that?
I'll go to the planning board and find out.
Be great if it allows that. We need more places to eat.
And then the other thing is, we have a request for another article in the town warrant for national digital inclusion for $10,000. Yeah.
Does this negate the 4,500?
No, the 4,500 is for now until July 1st. And the other one would be from July 1st through June. June. And that is working its way through the budget committee, which so far I've heard, no.
What is that, 4,500?
The 4,500 is for, you can probably explain it better than I can.
It's basically for a pilot program to see who needs help with, getting access to the internet, using their computers. The National Digital Equity Center basically offers like 200 courses that would be funneled through this pilot, where you can learn how to use Word and all kinds of different applications on your computer.
And how is this distributed so people know it's available?
It will be done through the, in collaboration with the library staff, but there will be a team of people from the broadband committee. It's a kind of a subset that will be helping to collect information about, who is actually using this and what the town actually needs.
So I thought we had something going on at the library to help people so far.
My understanding is that what is at the library today is primarily technical support. The National Digital Equity Center does not want to be involved with technical support, so we're kind of bringing these two things together. They want to help people use their computer and offer these different, basically, instructor-led programs on how to use applications on your computer, your laptop, or
Which we have at Radical. Radical offers that also for adult ed. And AARP offers a bunch of programs for free. You get one of that.
Is there equipment available too?
There's equipment that is available through this program. So if somebody doesn't have a computer, needs a computer, equipment can be made available through that.
Yes.
Do you know how many people this applies to that would need this assistance?
We don't have a good handle on that.
That's what part of this is. isn't it?
Yeah, this is a pilot program to figure that out.
And there are an awful lot of programs at this time, and I know that as far as the education, I just wonder. It's not that it's a bad idea, I just wonder if we're duplicating a lot of stuff that's already available. And there are also an awful lot of programs to get cheap or free computers at this point from right down from the computer companies, down to the AARP and different education.
Well, as with a lot of things, I think a big part of this is having some group basically organizing this and pulling it all together. Otherwise, how does everybody get to know about it?
But you've
The-
actually been involved in this for more than a year now, right?
Yes,
And you actually said to me at one point that you felt that it was unfortunate that the time that you've already had with this program, that there were so few people that actually had responded to any of the need,
no, I didn't say that. What I-
that, yeah, I'm quoting you, but that's okay, it's,
Okay.
you know. But, but there, no, this was about the digital equity, because I was asking you about the program at the library in particular.
right.
And your basic problem at the time was that you couldn't get enough people to actually make it worthwhile. And so I find it difficult to justify hiring somebody when you don't even have a classroom. So what's the hiring person? Is she gonna go out and she's gonna
Yes,
start gathering people? How's she gonna do that?
there's going to be a number of different apps taken. I mean,
Aging in place.
right, but I mean, we have what you were at the last meeting where
Oh, no.
we're targeting getting 20 people
Mhm.
involved in the project and about what their needs actually are.
So how come you're having these stimulated ideas now when a year ago you didn't have these ideas and get them working?
I didn't have a conversation with you a year ago.
No, not with me, but I'm just saying the program itself. I mean, the 20-person idea, was that just something that occurred to somebody all of a sudden a year ago? It didn't exist, or?
We started having conversations about digital equity and getting that part of the project going as we were thinking that the broadband piece was, most of our efforts were focused on the broadband for the first 3-4 years.
Although I think we did expend money on the digital equity too.
Yes,
We did. We spent $2,500 joining the digital equity program. You're right. And there was a subgroup that was focused on working on digital equity.
So this is something that's gonna go on to this agenda tomorrow?
Yes. There's two pieces to it.
No, yeah,
There's,
You can't add anything to the agenda for tomorrow.
right.
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
This,
Where is this 10 grand being addressed?
that's,
it's not even on anything right now. It's not on the
so,
town meeting, it's not on this one, it's nowhere, we're just bringing it up.
Yeah.
Hasn't been voted on.
just as a note on the 10 grand piece, there is a grant that has been written, and that if that comes through, then there will be no money needed.
I have a question for you, though. Are you a sworn-in member of the broadband committee still?
I believe I am.
How can you vote on any of this?
We've already discussed that. I
Yeah.
wrote a
how-
letter to
how?
MMA. We as selectmen can be on any committee.
Mhm. But I mean, how is it that you don't have agenda-driven votes? I mean, how can you tell that you don't have agenda-driven voting going on? How is that balanced? How is it not a conflict of interest on any level?
I don't know what you mean.
It's a conflict of interest if he votes on that.
He's
No.
driving, he's in part of the driver's seat for the initiative.
All we're doing is
Okay.
bringing this to the town as a
Yes, but you voted on 4,500 when Anna wasn't here. Okay, you and Bob cleared
as a
that.
pilot program,
Okay.
yes.
So, but it's associated to that whole program and you're
We are
driving
not,
it.
we don't vote on that.
Yeah,
The town
the
people,
$4,500 is still for the special meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
the town people vote on, not us.
Okay.
I
Just
voted, yeah, I voted,
I'm gonna need to know this, maybe.
I voted on the $4,500 to be on the special
Okay,
town meeting
okay,
for tomorrow night, yes.
okay.
I take it the pilot program, you're putting this forward towards the elderly citizens. in our
It's
town.
for anybody, yes.
And it's gonna take responsibility for these elderly people that are not computer literate who get hooked on scams.
There's a lot of education that goes on about how to use the,
I know what you're,
all right, so you just leave it alone and don't reach out to people. And I mean, they're gonna need to know how to use some of these things to have doctor's appointments.
It occurs to
Things
me
like this.
that the medical field is going to step up and healthcare is going to reach out and bloom, because there are people like my dad, who's 99 years old, who will probably live into the virtual healthcare field, if much to his chagrin, but he's never gonna leave his recliner to go find out how to do this. He's never gonna buy a computer or ask for one.
You're,
So
maybe you're right.
healthcare is actually going to fill that void. And you're gonna find that a lot of our healthcare visitors that are out right now, okay, establishing contacts for these people that are shut in and need this service, they're gonna be picking up that slack and filling that void, and it's gonna make anything that's invested up there almost,
But you're saying as
Unnecessary.
select board, we are supposed to make decisions like that to not allow people in town to do these things.
but you can't allow, how can you allow or disallow?
We should allow people to vote on it. And
Well,
let
that's
them
a
make that
good thing
decision.
for sure, and
Right.
that's good, we'll do
That's
that.
what we're doing. We're allowing the
Yeah.
people to
The
vote on it.
whole point of the digital equity and the digital inclusion is being very short-sighted about the clients that they're intending to reach and the actual age group of people that might live to need this, okay? These people are not gonna be rolling into the library parking lot to be involved.
That's
in
what
the-
we're gonna find out. That's what we're gonna find out.
It's not just for older people, though. I mean, you can get skills and get job skills by learning how to use different software on a computer. I mean, you use Excel and different accounting software and word processing and all that kind of stuff.
And that has nothing to do with the aged.
Well,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
just-
Yeah.
I learned,
Well, that's
I
what's being
actually
counted
wrote
at.
different, databases.
So did
and
I.
software, So, and I went to college and learned
Yeah,
that,
that's-
so.
Yeah, but
But you know, let's say it's for the elderly, and then say it's for anyone. That's how it's being couched.
Yeah, that is.
It is, it's being couched very
Bill
closely
Rosenberg,
at the aging
mother,
in
actually,
place and all that
brought
other
in
stuff.
Elderly healthcare and the aging in place.
well, we are
Yeah,
talking
maybe.
about those different pieces, yes, but it's not that that's the sole audience.
I am not speaking for aging in place in total, but I am on aging in place, and one of the things that I see is that there's so much needed for people. We're trying to help people stay in their own homes, which is very important
Right.
for their mental health and for their well-being, as long as physically possible, safely.
Mhm.
And a lot of the stuff that is needed is not electronically available.
A lot of it is.
Uh,
I mean,
But.
my
okay.
mom has dementia. I was able to keep her in her house because of cameras and being able to order food for her and all that sort of thing remotely. I knew what she was up to all the time. You may not want to do that for your family, but that's.
I did that
something-
for my mother. I had
Okay.
to move in with me.
Right,
so.
okay, well,
But. the
Okay,
thing
can
is,
we move on? I think we've built,
we'll
kill
have
this
to
one.
do this discussion tomorrow, because I do think that
You
we
think?
need to spend money, but not necessarily on that for the other.
I have a, we have a, property abatement,
Great.
and I can open it up for any questions anybody has. That's it.
So on the theme of what we were discussing tonight in regards to runoff water and flooding and affecting our lakes. Has there been any talk about trying to do something down on the corner of Bean Road that we replaced twice this year already?
Good point.
You know, I mean, we keep putting good money at a project that just keeps washing out, and you know, when are we gonna get something on the warrant to do an engineer study down there so that we don't have to replace it every once or twice a year?
I did try it last year.
Bob wanted to have off of the roads, but really for all the water streams, there should be a engineering study. Because for that to wash out twice,
Twice in a year.
and then, you know, we keep doing these roads over and over again, saying,
It would have been a box. Called it like they
Which-
did on that.
and
Yeah.
part of what he's talking about is, does anybody know how much it costs the town for
To do
repairs
that.
so far? Which we're not gonna get
He
reimbursed.
hasn't even done it yet.
He hasn't done any of our fixing any of our roads.
No, he fixed the, Cottle Hill instead.
You know, going back on.
Because we aren't gonna get any FEMA money.
No.
No FEMA money, we're not going, maybe it's near close to having enough damage.
He-
Found out today,
You
any
gotta
road
do-
that was washed out prior and you fix, and it washed out again, you get no help.
Right,
So this is gonna be,
you know that box that we put up on going to Cottle Hill,
Mhm.
we gotta do that on the Green Road. Right there, instead of,
oh, you gotta go volume, you gotta know what the volume is on.
Yeah.
You can put two culverts in there, it might take care of that. The
Gotta
neighbor
go-
up the road after that first one, he put a big second culvert in and I think he was okay this time.
No,
no,
He lost it again.
Yeah, he lost it.
I ain't been over there.
we lost the fight.
so how close are you guys to thinking about maybe putting a road committee together?
We have one.
They have.
We just started.
Voted on, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nobody.
You
told
were,
me.
yeah, they're all sworn in.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
I didn't
Well, you
believe.
had all the
Yeah.
affidavits.
Yeah, but they still want to get sworn in.
Is he on the list?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be in
on the road.
No,
Sworn in.
Oh, I can say that. Yeah, you're here. 222.
I was on the refield, I read it for 13 years.
it's gonna be.
Here we go.
Well, come on.
Ask to be on it.
Yeah.
I'd have to give this some thought, yeah.
Oh,
Who is on?
Tom Jacobs,
Jacobs.
Aaron,
Aaron Burrows.
and
Mike Smith.
Barry,
Mike Smith,
Mike Smith,
and we're still looking.
and you.
I asked him to ask Lee to be on it, because he knows the roads.
Who?
I want you to be on it.
Lee.
Lee won't do it.
No, 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 no,
But
no.
we need his advice. He can tell us all the bad and the good and.
My suggestion is to talk amongst yourselves and one of you goes to Lee and talk to him.
Can I bring up Lee for a minute?
Yeah.
Is he, what is qualified as an incapacitated person at this point? Is he functioning?
Are you talking about
Barely,
the
isn't he?
accident?
Hmm?
Are you talking with regards to the accident?
I don't know what accident happened. He was in the
okay.
hospital.
He's in the hospital.
He
Yeah.
was. He's out.
They're fine.
Yeah. So he's still considered a functioning road commissioner. Okay. Because at what point would, and I don't mean to be morose, but at what point does that become an issue when he can no longer do his services and so on?
An elected official until he says so.
Hmm,
He's elected.
yes, but anybody that's elected can be unelected as well with the proper channels. I'm not looking to do this. I'm looking for education. Because I like Lee. I think Lee knows what he's doing. I think he needs the road commission, the road committee more than he realizes because we can actually help him. But he doesn't know that yet.
I need the other one. This is the community center. I need the one for the sand shed. Anything else?
The road committee might want to know what you have available. I think it would be a very good interface.
Yeah, that might be a good one for us to start. Getting road, that corner, Locks corner. We get washed out quite a bit. And
The
you just
unfortunate
had,
part is,
you
when he
just,
gets washed out, it shuts off that whole end of town for a mutual aid.
Is that North Road and Bean Road or in further?
The North Road end of it.
Yeah.
And you think about what that's doing to, the stream that it's going into and eventually into Long Pond.
so. All the dirt's down there, boulders and everything. I will talk to Lee. Anything else? I move that we adjourn at 8:26.
Second.
That was a little hesitant.
Okay, good night, everyone on the internet.
We're gonna need some help